Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna. Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Om Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Oh Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Oh Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Radhe. Oh Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Oh Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna. Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram 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 Hare. Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare. Oh Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. So today is Amavasya, which means new moon, which means no moon. And this is a very, very auspicious day, disappearance of Srila Satchidanand Bhaktivinoda Thakur and disappearance day of Gadadhar Pandit. So on these very special disappearance days, there was one very beautiful bhajan by Narottam Das Thakur that Srila Prabhupada always used to sing. So if you have your device with you, first of all put it on silent and if you can look up Jaya Nilo Premadana. Jaya Nilo Premadana Karuna Prachur Karuna prachur Eno Prabhu Kota Gela Charya Thakur Kahamora Swarup Rupa Kaha Sanatan Kaha Dasarago Nata Patita Pavan Patita Pavan Kahamura Bhata Juga Kaha Kabira Eka Kale Kota Kela Gora Natara Pasani Kutivo Mata Anale Pasivo Goranga Gunera Neri Kota Gela Pavo Se Saba Sangira Koile Jai Koilo Bila Bila Se Sangana Paya Kande Narotamada Narotamada Se Sangana Paya Kande Narotamada Jayanilo Premadana Karuna Prajure Ilo Premadana Karuna Prajure Eno Prabhu Kota Gela Charya Thakur Eno Prabhu Kota Gela Gadara Pandita Eno Prabhu Kota Gela Bhakti Vinod Thakur Eno Prabhu Kota Gela Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur. Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Ananda Guri Vaishnavrinda ki Jai Nitya Lila Vishnu Vishnupada His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Ananda Guri Vaishnavrinda ki Sadgo Swami Prabhu ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Go Shama Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki Brajabhumi Vrindavan Dham ki Disappearance Day of Srila Gadadhar Pandit ki Disappearance Day of Srila Satchidanand Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki Itai Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled body. All glories to the assembled body. All glories to the assembled devotee. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Glories to you, Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. So today is very, very extremely wonderful day for all of us. It's the disappearance day of Sri Gadadhar and disappearance day of Satchidanand Bhakti Vinod Thakur. So somehow this very fallen soul has been asked to speak about these great personalities, so you please give me your blessing so that I may say something in their honor. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chaksurun Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swavadandigam Adadanastrинандан Tairidam Yache Puna Puna Srimad Rupa Padambujo Dulisyam Janva Janvani Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Panchakalpatrubhyascha kripa sindhu vaivata patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. So first of all, we'll try to speak something about Srila Gadadhar Pandit. So we know Gadadhar is part of the Panchatattva. I can't remember who gave class the other day. They gave a whole explanation about Panchatattva, so we won't bore you with that today, because you've already heard a couple of days ago. So, but Gadadhar, we see the Panchatattva, 3 are the worshipable. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita. These are all Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's Krishna himself. Just like one time, Prabhupada hadn't come to America for a very long time. So devotees, but he was in India, and he kept getting one program after another program, and people were saying, should we send the bees? He said, no, don't send, I'm just now coming. And we know this is a famous saying in India, just now coming, and they don't come. Prabhupada would get another program, so it was a very long time. So there was some people who had been waiting for over a year for first initiation. So the question came, should they get second initiation? So Prabhupada called these, there was I can't remember how many people. But anyway, he asked the first devotee, he said, who is Krishna? He said, Supreme Personality of Godhead. So you can take Brahman initiation. Second devotee asked, who is Lord Chaitanya? He said, most munificent incarnation of Krishna. Prabhupada said, no, he's Krishna himself. You can take Brahman initiation. So he's Krishna himself. And Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda. So Nityananda, he's none other than Balaram. Brajendananda Najay Sati Sutta Hoilo Se. That Brajendananda, who was previously Brajendananda Samsundar, has now come as Sachi Sutta. And Balaram Hoilo Nitai. And Krishna's expansion, his brother's first expansion, is Balaram. So he's also in the category of Bhagavan, worshipable. And Advaita, some say he's Sadashiva, some say he's Mahavishnu. Generally, he's considered to be incarnation of Mahavishnu. So he's also in the worshipable category. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar. Gadadhar. Gadadhar is none other than Srimati Radharani. And Srivas. We were hearing about Srivas the other day, who's a devotee. So altogether, this is the absolute truth, Panchatattva. So these two, Gadadhar and Srivas, they're worshipping the worshipable. So Gadadhar, he's none other than Radharani, but we know in Krishna Lila, Radharani is very feisty. Bama, we say she's a left-winger. But we see that now, Lord Chaitanya, he's taken on Radha Bhava Duti Suvalikam Nomi Krishna Sarupam. Radha Bhava Duti. He has taken on duty, the luster. We see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, though he's Krishna himself, he's not Krishna. Krishna. Krishna Varnam tis Krishna. He's Krishna, but he's Krishna. How is that? He's not black. He's not Sham Sundar like our deities. He's Gaur Sundar. So, Radha Bhava, Bhav, he has taken on the Bhav, that feisty Bhav of Radharani has come into Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So what's left over, that is Gadadhar. We see that he's very, very submissive. He never argues with Mahaprabhu, though he's sometimes very disturbed by him, at least in his early leelas, as we hear. And Srivas, of course, is a devotee. So this is his position in the Panchatattva. So he appeared, I believe it was a little bit before Mahaprabhu, in the same village in Mayapur. His house was not very far from Jagannath Mishra. In fact, Satyamata considered that Gadadhar's mother was just like her sister. And from their very childhood, Gadadhar and Nimai became very, very good friends. They couldn't be separated any time. They were always wandering together and playing together. And gradually Nimai entered into his learning pastimes. And he became a big Pandit, Nimai Pandit. And he would always tease Gadadhar, because Gadadhar was a nice devotee. But Mahaprabhu was exhibiting this pastime of being a great scholar. And he would argue and all, because scholars always uselessly arguing with useless points, just wasting their time. Just like Sankaracharya, at the end he said, Bhaja Govindam Mudavate, Prapti Sani Hitu Kalamani, Nahinari Dirikshadi Dukrin Karane. All your useless arguments and grammar will not help you at the time of death. Bhaja Govinda, just worship Govinda. But scholars, they spend all their time arguing it. So Mahaprabhu, he would make one point, Nimai, he would make one point and argue on that point. And everybody tried to defeat him, they couldn't defeat him. Then he'd turn around and defeat his own point. And he would always tease Gadadhar. Gadadhar didn't like this, you know. And he knew that Gadadhar didn't like this. And one time he told Gadadhar, you'll see Gadadhar, Gadai, you'll see. I'll become such a Vaishnava that even Brahma and Lord Shiva will come to my doorstep. He predicted like this. Of course, we know after Nimai went to Gaya, he met Ishwar Puri and received the holy name. Then he became completely God intoxicated. Then he and Gadadhar became very, very dear friends. And they were never separated. One time Mahaprabhu was in ecstasy. And he said, oh Gadai, where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? And Gadai said, he's in your heart. And Mahaprabhu began to take his fingernails and claw at his heart. And he said, no. Not like that. You just wait. He's coming. Don't worry, he's coming. And Sachi Mata, she saw this going on from a distance. So later she told Gadadhar, you never leave him alone. He gets into these moods, I don't know what to do. So you always be with him to protect him from these moods. So Gadadhar was always with, he was in the kirtans and Shiva Sangha, and he was always there taking part in the wonderful pastimes. Even when Lord Chaitanya went to Puri, then Gadadhar, he could not bear the separation, he also came to Puri. One time near Yameshwar, there was a garden. And I've understood garden means tota, or the trees were called tota, I don't know, but the garden was called tota. And there Mahaprabhu began to dig, and finally they pulled out a wonderful, beautiful deity of Gopinath. And he gave that to Gadadhar, that this is your life's mission, you worship this deity of Gadadhar. So that Gadadhar became Tota Gopinath, because he came from the Tota, the garden called Tota, so he became known as Tota Gopinath. Very beautiful deity is there. And Gadai would worship him he was instructed by Mahaprabhu, you worship him very nicely. Only one time he was about to break his worship. When Mahaprabhu went to Vrindavan, then Gadadhar wanted to go with him. So, but Mahaprabhu would order him to always stay and worship Gopinath, to take Kshetra Sannyas. This is a sannyas called Kshetra Sannyas, where you don't leave the holy Dham under any circumstances. So he was ready to break that vow, he was ready to break the order of Mahaprabhu. He wanted to go. And Mahaprabhu, he followed Mahaprabhu up to the border of Orissa. And there was a river there. So Mahaprabhu got in a boat to cross, and Gadadhar was crying. And Mahaprabhu was telling, no, you can't break your vow, you have to go back. So he's pointing like this. If in old Chaitanya Charitamrita, the painting is there. Actually, I posed for that painting. That was my tiny part in the great Chaitanya Charitamrita marathon that you've all read about in Leelamrit. I was a temple president of Portland, Oregon, and Prabhupada was in LA, so we came down to LA to get association with Srila Prabhupada. And I was walking down the street, and Radharani just came up. She didn't know who I was. She just said, hey, you, come here. We need somebody to pose, because they had to do the paintings real quick. So just by imagination is a little bit hard, but if you have somebody posing, it's easier to draw quicker, So they grabbed me. So I was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sitting on the boat telling Gadadhar Pandit to go back. Gadadhar Pandit is fainting. She wasn't satisfied with any of my faints. I had to faint many times. The Buddhist priest who brought unmentionable things to Mahaprabhu, I was that Buddhist priest where the eagle came and dropped that plate on his head. So I'm the Buddhist priest. There's an old man with a cane going, that's me. The Mahaprabhu went to Nandagam. They told him there's a cave on top of the hill, and there's a big stout man and a very dainty lady and a little Tribangali Gwal in between. So Mahaprabhu climbed and he touched the body of Gopal like this. So I posed for that painting also. That was my tiny contribution to the great Chaitanya Charitamrita Marathon. So anyway, he told him to stay back, so he stayed back. In this way, Mahaprabhu would always come and listen to Gadadhar Pandit reading Srimad Bhagavatam. In fact, gradually that Srimad Bhagavatam became completely washed away by the tears. He would always cry oceans and oceans of tears while reading. So it became completely washed out. There's a popular story that after Mahaprabhu disappeared, of course he disappeared in Tota Gopinath. He was dancing in kirtan, and then suddenly he leapt on the altar and slammed the doors behind him, and all they found was Mahaprabhu's cloth outside. So we're told that Gadadhar Pandit, in his old age, he couldn't put the garland on Tota Gopinath, so he sat down. But actually, Bhakti Purushottam Swami, who's from Orissa, he told me that's not the actual thing. Gadadhar, he couldn't live without Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu was his life and soul. So he couldn't live without him. So after Mahaprabhu disappeared, Gadadhar Pandit also disappeared. Then Mamu Thakur took over the seva. And it was Mamu Thakur, in his old age, he couldn't lift the garland. So Tota Gopinath sat down. So this is the only deity you see, Radha Krishna, where Krishna is sitting in Padmasan. And in the old days, we could give some donation, and they would lift the dhoti, and you could see the crack where they say, there's a little white line, they say that's where Mahaprabhu entered to Tota Gopinath. But anyway, that Bhakti Purushottam Swami told us that this is the actual thing, and it was for Mamu Thakur, because Gadadhar couldn't live without Nimai. He immediately, when Nimai left, he also could no longer maintain his life. Srila Gadadhar ki jai. So this is most auspicious day for all of us, because Bhaktivinoda Thakur was the first in our line of spiritual master, Parampara, to try to preach in some other language outside of Indian languages. He even wrote many books in English. One of them was Lord Chaitanya's Life and Precepts, which found its way to McGill University in Canada in 1896. And of course, we all know 1896 is a very important year for us, because that's the year of Srila Prabhupada's birth. So this is very auspicious, that in the birth year of Srila Prabhupada, an English book arrived in Western country. So, and he predicted that very soon someone will come and spread the holy name all over the world. And of course we know that is none other than our dear Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Just to show, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, some of his writings are in English. He even wrote a beautiful poem in English. Now we can all remember from our school days that sometimes our teacher had us write a poem, isn't it? And we just broke our heads trying to get some inspiration and try to write some rhyming so that we'd have nice meter and rhyme and everything, and we break our heads. That's in our own language. Now this poem by Bhaktivinoda Thakur is written in English language, which is not his mother tongue. But you just listen. Even my dear godbrother Mangalananda has put music to it. So this is called Sahagrahi Vaishnav, when that Vaishnav who only takes the essence. Alas for those that spend their days in festive mirth and joy, the dazzly, deadly liquid forms their hearts for air employ. The shining bottles charm their eyes and draw their hearts' embrace. The slaves of wine can never rise from what we call disgrace. Was man intended to be a brute in work and heart? Should man, the Lord of all around, from common sense depart? Man's glory is in common sense, dictating us the grace that man is made to live and love this beauteous heaven's embrace. The flesh is not our own, alas, this mortal frame a chain. The soul confined for former wrongs should try to rise again. Why then this childish play in that which cannot be our own, which falls within 100 years if it's a rose a-blown? Our life is but a rosy hue to go ere long to naught. The soul that would last fore'er with good or evil fraught. How deep the thought of time to be, how grave the aspect looks, and wrapped in awe become when reading nature's books. Man's life to him a problem dark, a screen both left and right. No soul hath come to tell us what exists beyond our sight. But then a voice, how deep and soft within ourselves is felt. Man, man, thou art immortal soul, thee death can never melt. For thee thy sire on high has kept a store of bliss above. To end of time thou art, O his, who once but purest love. O love, thy power and spell benign, now melt my soul to God. How can my earthly words describe the feeling soft and broad? Enjoyment, sorrow, what but loss to which the flesh is hair? The soul that sleeps alone concludes, in them it hath a share. And then, my friends, no more enjoy, nor weep for all below. The woman, wine, and flesh of beast, no love on thee bestow. But thine to love thy brother man, and give thyself to God. And God doth know your wages fair, this fact is true and broad. Forget the past that sleeps, and ne'er the future dream at all, but act in times that are with thee, and progress ye shall call. But tell me not, here's this verse, is Prabhupada's preaching to the scientists in a beautiful verse. But tell me not in reasoning cold, the soul was made alone, by earth mechanics, lifeless rules, and to destruction prone. My God, who gave us life and all alone the soul can kill, or give it all the joys above, his promise to fulfill. So push thy onward march, O soul, against an evil deed that stands with soldiers, hate and lust, a hero be indeed. Maintain thy post in spirit world as firmly as you can. Let never matter push thee down, O stand heroic man. O Sahagrahi Vaishnav soul, thou art an angel fair. Lead me on to Vrindavan, and spirit's power declare. There rests my soul from matter free upon my lover's arms. Eternal peace and spirit's love are all my chanting charms. Eternal peace and spirit's love are all my chanting charms. Are all my chanting charms. Are all my chanting charms. So this was written by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, not his mother tongue, but so beautiful rhyme, perfect meter, so wonderful. Hare Krishna. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. So Bhaktivinoda, he appeared in this world in 1838 in a village, that time was known as Ulagam, now it's known as Bir Nagar. The house is still there. And somehow they later moved to well, there's two villages, Choti Mangalpur. He lived in that Choti Mangalpur area in Orissa. Although they were Bengalis, they were living, his family lived for many years in Orissa. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he appeared in a very aristocratic family, very wealthy family. But later, due to, as we know, Lakshmi sees chanchal. She never stays with, somebody becomes very wealthy, and then after a few generations, all the wealth is gone. So they fell in hard times. They had to move to Choti. There he got his first job as a teacher in a nearby village at 22 rupees a month. That was his salary. So, and he used to go by Pelican, because those days it was aristocratic people would travel by Pelican, and there would be 6 people that would carry it, 2 in the front, 2 in the middle, and 2 in the rear, and then there was 4 others that were extras that came along. He would go and come. They tried to preserve that Pelican, but somehow it got lost. It's deteriorated and got lost. And later, and when he appeared, at that time, Vaishnavism was in a very sorry state. It was only like 300 years after Mahaprabhu had left, and so many Sampradayas had started, and nobody had any good opinion of Vaishnavas. Vaishnava meant that you just needed an excuse to beg, just a beggar. They would go on the street and chant to collect some money and fill their belly in this way. And otherwise, so many strange practices had developed. We won't go into that. But they were completely morally depraved. So no gentleman had any, hardly any gentleman, I shouldn't say no, but hardly any had any respect for the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavism due to these Sampradayas and all these horrible practices. Practically lost. And even Bhaktivinoda himself, he was, because at that time British was ruling, so they were putting emphasis on learning British literature and things, and he studied in Christian schools and something. He also read the Bible, so he knew the Bible backwards and forwards, and he he got a job in the British government. And at that time, he was filled with so many bad impressions, but somehow somebody managed to speak to him about Lord Chaitanya. Then he tried to find a copy of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavat, but it was only 300 years since Mahaprabhu left. They couldn't find one. Finally he found one. And he said, I gained a little faith in Lord Chaitanya, but I couldn't understand why he emphasized this morally depraved Krishna, who had so many bad, he was a debauchee. How was he worshipping this Krishna? But gradually as I studied, and as I began to chant the holy name, because it's by service, it's not by scholarship that we will understand Krishna. Krishna is unlimited, and we're tiny, we're limited, finite. How will that finite being understand the infinite? It's not possible. But that infinite being, because he is infinite, that means there's nothing that he can't do. So if he wants to reveal himself to the finite being, who will stop him? The finite can't understand the infinite, but if he wants to reveal himself, he's infinite. He can do with anything. So how does he reveal himself? When one worships with love. When one worships with love. Bhajatam priti purvakam. Priti purvakam. Then dadami buddhi yogatam. I give. Krishna reveals himself. When we worship with love. So by chanting the holy name and reading some more, then Bhaktivinoda Thakur finally understood the real truth about Krishna. And he began to try to wake up his fellow Bengalis to the great wealth that they had, that was being completely lost because of all these groups. And he made so much propaganda against these Apasampradayas. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was one of the first. He was probably the most, since the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was probably the most important Vaishnava who appeared on this planet. And he changed the whole course. And somehow or other because the British, they recognized his capacity, his abilities. They like to give him very nice posts. We should say one other thing I was just reading, a very interesting thing. In Bhaktivinoda's house in which he was born, their deities were Patita Pavan Jagannath. I mean, Jagannath alone by himself without Subhadra or Baladev. Patita Pavan Jagannath and Laddu Gopal. Somebody has the idea that Laddu Gopal, this is something to do with Ballabh Sampradaya, but it's not Ballabh Sampradaya. This is just since a long time, before Ballabh Sampradaya, this is going on. Worship Laddu Gopal, and they had one Shalagram Shila called Raghunath. And the story behind this Raghunath deity is very interesting, because his great-grandfather was worshipping these Patita Pavan Jagannath and Laddu Gopal very nicely. And they were, by caste, they were Kayastas. Because he was Bhaktivinoda was given, at his birth, he was given the name Kedarnath Dutt, with Kayastas. And Kayastas were considered, some people, to be somewhere between Kshatriyas and Vaishnavas, and some people Sudras. Now, Varnashram I can understand very easily, but the caste system I'll never figure out. But anyway, some people consider them to be Sudras. Anyway, they maintained a place, because his great-grandfather was very wealthy, that any Brahmin or any Vaishnava who came, they would supply him with a place to stay, and they would supply him with ingredients to cook, because they were considered to be a lower caste, so the Brahmins liked to cook for themselves. So they would supply everything, and many people came and took advantage of their hospitality. Then one day, one unknown Brahmin came. Now this was strange. In the village, everybody knows everybody. You even know everybody in the next village and the next village. Everybody knows. So this Brahmin, nobody knew. They couldn't understand. So he meant that he must have been coming from a faraway place, because he was unknown in that area at all. And it was very strange. He just had one little bag on his shoulder, like this, little bag on his shoulder. You would think when traveling, you would have, we need 2 Samsonite suitcases to travel. He just had this suitcase. So they welcomed him, and they gave him a place to stay and everything, and they told him that we'll give you ingredients for cooking. You go take your bath. Nearby there was a canal. But he went to the canal. It was summer season. It was dry. So they told him there's a river nearby. They told him how to get to the river. So he went to the river and never returned. Nobody ever saw that Brahmin again. So they became very worried. So they sent out search parties. They were searching everywhere. Maybe he drowned, what happened to him. And they couldn't find him anywhere. Later they found that he had left his little bag inside the temple room before he went to take his bath. And Bhaktivinoda was supremely honest, so he didn't allow anyone to touch that bag. But they called the priest, and it was in the temple room. They called the priest. The priest looked inside, and he pulled out this huge Shila that by his markings was obviously Raghunath. very large shila, in a big large mouth. Inside that mouth there was another 3-inch shalagram with a big chakra. So his great-grandfather concluded that Raghunath himself has come and left this deity of Raghunath. And he asked the priest, now what should we do? He said, Shalagram she has to be worshipped. It must be worshipped. So they began to worship, along with Patita Pavan Jagannath and Laddu Gopal, they began the worship of Raghunathji. And his grandfather declared that because Raghunath has come of his own accord, without giving any warning, he came. Also, if we're negligent in the worship, he will also by his own